On today's episode of Titus and Tate, the hardest working men in show business are back from vacation. Tate,
I wish we had the Cam Newton, "I'm back." I don't know why his voice was so weird when he yelled that, but I think we are back. I feel good
lesser
about it.
men would have taken longer vacations. Today is actually a great beach day in LA. Great weather.
Oh, really?
And we are recording this right smack dab in the middle of the day, so I can't even go to the beach. I came
Mm.
here. That's how dedicated to my craft
I got a
am,
tea
Tate.
time at 3:30, so I got my
You're
situation
ready to
figured
get outta
out.
here. So if at the end of the show I'm like, Tate, let's talk about North Carolina bringing everyone back, and Tate goes, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah, we got a long off season.
It is the offseason. We're going to talk about some stuff that's happened since we've been gone.
In case you missed it,
in
and
case
we
you
missed
missed
it. Yeah.
Jay Wright retired. Dude. What?
The GOAT,
Wait,
some are
what?
saying. Yeah.
That
The
was
best
crazy.
coach to leave the game this offseason. That's what other people are saying.
Yeah. Jay Wright's farewell tour lasted over the course of like 10 minutes on Twitter, where
Yeah.
someone tweeted he's considering retirement.
and it's gone.
And he's considered it, and he's retired. How about that? We'll talk about Jay Wright a little bit. Also, North Carolina. In all seriousness,
Yeah.
in all seriousness, North Carolina brings a lot of guys back. All these announcements are coming through the pipe, and Carolina's positioned themselves to be the #1 team in the country next year. How does Tate feel about that? Way too early.
I don't know how to win an
Power
offseason.
rankings.
You know what I mean? Because North
Yeah.
Carolina has never won an offseason in this media environment. So I'm not really sure how to act.
It's a long offseason, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you
this
haven't
is the way
officially won.
too early offseason rankings, #1 right now.
Maybe we'll talk a little bit NBA playoffs. I don't know. I was told when I sat down to do the show that they're going on right now.
Yes,
So
they're
I
happening.
went ahead. I Googled NBA playoffs, hit enter. I'm gonna share my thought. I'm kidding. I've been watching. I've been
Kevin
plugged in.
Durant not having a
been-
good playoffs.
No, he's
Ben Simmons having a worse playoffs. So
Desmond
I mean,
Bain, native of Indiana, is
Mhm.
having a great playoff.
love Desmond Bain.
So shout out to him for that. We'll do a little NBA playoff talk. We'll see where else this thing goes. The offseason's officially here.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. All that coming up at first.
Woody Durham.
All right, we are back from vacation, as I said, Tate. We are there are no Ben Simmonses on this show. We do the job we have.
Yes,
to do.
we show up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he shows up now, but we wear, I guess, pretty normal clothes.
Yeah.
We don't try to stand out. Did you see the outfit the guy had on the bench?
Yeah.
That is incredible. I've
Are you,
never seen.
can I ask you
something
this,
like
because
this.
I'm
Yes.
how much older am I than you? 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Like I've already gotten to this point with some of this stuff, but I sense a tinge in your tone there that you're becoming an old man, complaining about like what guys are wearing on the bench and the state of the game.
Not
and all that.
guys.
Do you feel like you're
Guy.
getting old?
No,
Okay.
no. Just one guy. I mean, it's what you can wear whatever you want as long as you ball out. You know what I mean? If Daquan Cook was on the bench at Ohio State and had the exact same outfit as Ben Simmons, but he had a back injury, I'd be like, who cares? I like
Bad
that he's
example,
wearing
because
that.
Daquan would say, no, I'm kidding.
But you know what I mean?
No, yeah, you're right.
Like,
you're right, yeah.
he's not allowed to wear that outfit based on the fact that he does not even play.
So we should have like a some sort of tiered system where you get a physical every night before the games.
Mhm.
Like, even if you're not playing, you're out. Say take a guy like Kawhi, who was out all season and he tore up his knee, right? That was
ACL.
It's hard to keep track of all the reasons guys are sitting out in the NBA. Yeah, that was last playoffs. Yeah, he tore up his knee. So we know Kawhi isn't faking it, but we also every single game there needs to be like a physical done to assess the level of how much you're faking it. How much are you like how
The
much are you
wink
allowed
factor.
to how
Yeah,
much are
yeah.
you allowed to show out on the bench with your attire?
Yeah. Yes. What is the drip meter?
Yes,
How much
what's the
drip can I
How
have
much drip can I
based
have?
on my play? And figure out that those are
We need
analytics
that
I would
algorithm.
like to see.
We need that
Put
algorithm.
those numbers out there.
Jim, am I understanding this correctly that you were at Coachella this weekend?
Yeah. What gave you that?
He's got his bracelets.
What gave you that idea?
I think he just got here from Coachella.
I did.
He just drove and got dropped off.
Mm-hmm. I drove straight from Coachella.
First question.
7-hour drive.
First
But
question.
I was still high the whole time.
Why?
so-
How did this come to be? Like, why? In a word, why?
Yes, good question.
What?
Why Coachella?
'Cause
Why?
Burke and some of our mutual friends we're going.
Yeah. Well, okay. Follow-up question. What is Coachella actually?
Yes.
It's just like a music festival?
I guess if you consider that music. I didn't really know any of the bands. It was fine though. It was fun.
You
It
had
was
a good
just
time?
a nice weekend. Yeah.
Who'd you go see?
I always have a
Who,
good
who
time.
stuck out to you? Who'd you see that you liked? Baby
Was
King?
Kanye
I
there?
didn't see that.
No, Kanye
No,
dropped
Kanye
out.
canceled.
Wait, he was
Swedish House
supposed to
Mafia.
actually be
Yeah,
there?
he was. Swedish House Mafia took his spot.
No, the weekend did.
And Swedish House Mafia. They were together.
I don't know. I left. I was in
Guy,
bed.
guy went
I
to
was
the
in bed by
thing.
8. I was in bed by 8.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, what a riveting
Good job, Jim.
story.
It was great. I saw Danny
Good
Elfman.
Coachella update, Jim.
Danny Elfman was good. The guy who wrote the Simpsons theme and Pee Wee,
He-
Batman,
The
Spider
guy who
Man.
wrote the Simpsons theme was at Coachella.
Mhm.
What
Hans Zimmer played at Coachella once.
is it
Did
an
he
all
really?
day deal? Is it like an all day deal or is it just like
Yeah, 3 days.
So they just all day, every day for 3 days.
Music.
There's music going on.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then there's like the-
You've been.
Yes. Well, I mean, I went 1 year, but I don't go. You know what I mean?
I had
I don't go.
I'm not gonna name names. He would actually love it if I did name his name. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But he's appeared on the show before. A mutual friend of ours told me he was unretiring from Coachella, and he was so excited this year to
Unretiring.
unretire. Because he's like, I assessed the landscape. I realized I was way too old for this.
Mhm.
Your dad?
But then, but then he's like, the pandemic changed my just kind of how I view this stuff, and I realized I got to live while I can, and I'm officially unretired. I'm gonna go to Coachella this year, and I was like, cool, man.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
There's usually, from what I've heard, from what I've gathered from the Coachellans that go, there's like a 5 to 7 year window where you say this is your last year. Then you just keep coming back. And then
gotcha.
eventually, I think you hit 40, you realize you're not 24.
Yeah,
And then you say one more time.
yeah.
And then maybe that's the last one.
Is this your last one, Jim? Was this your farewell
see.
tour? Your
We'll see.
Coachella farewell?
Yeah.
We'll see.
You should have dressed up as Coach K and gotten praised as you went around
I
Coachella.
had the flower like in my hair, the flower crown,
Midsummer.
glow
Jam.
sticks, Vicks
Oh, my
vapor rub all over my face.
Coachella is the one thing that is definitely one thing that we're in the Midwest, it's a punchline. Like
Yeah, it's
the
a
idea of
joke.
Coachella is an
Mhm.
absolute joke,
Yeah.
and no one would even the people that the handfuls of people who might actually be flying across the country to go to that thing. Like if they brought it up in conversation, they just get their ass kicked, and
Mhm.
no one. There's not a soul on earth that's like
When did you first learn what Coachella was? In the
probably like
Midwest?
5 years ago. I am different from everyone else.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying I'm not like all those other girls or whatever, but I'm fully aware that I don't know what's going on and what's cool and
Yeah.
whatever else. So I don't want to speak for all the Midwest, but I had learned of it like 5 years ago. And then every single time I would hear anybody talk about it, it was a joke. So then when I moved out here and people would actually talk, like I would just laugh.
Yeah.
Like people were like, yeah, Coachella's coming up this week. And I'd be like, like, no, what's funny about that? I'm going to Coachella.
Yeah.
I
In
don't
the
know.
South, we
I
learned
still don't fully understand.
Tupac hologram was when we figured out what it was. That's
Coachella.
He wasn't there.
He
I
wasn't.
asked.
Well, I think-
I did. I was like, when's Tupac's hologram coming on? Or Michael Jackson?
My problem with Coachella too is I always got it confused with Burning Man's another deal that's out here, right?
Well, Burning Man is like an actual that's a real thing.
like a heathen's paradise.
Yeah, you're just going out in the desert with a bunch of people. Yeah, I mean that's something totally different. I think they'd be upset if you compare those two things.
Yeah,
To Burning
like,
Man.
that's it's all ridiculous. It's all what have you been up to? It's been a while since we've done a show.
What have I been up to?
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of basketball, NBA playoff basketball, playing a lot of golf, which has been great. Shot 74, my low in my life. Last Monday.
You are old, dude.
No, it was great.
You're
It was great.
Tate reached a phase of his life where he gets 4 hours of free time. He's using it on golf.
Of course.
It's amazing.
No, it's great. And
74 is good though.
no, it was a beautiful round. And I played with a random guy, and he was so invested in me and my round. He became like my caddy. You know what I mean? So like I hit a ball in the wood. Like as it was getting later in the round, you know what I mean? I started to get in my head. Like I was like Roy McIlroy in 2011 at the Masters. I kept looking at the score, and I'm like mentally
that,
breaking
yeah.
down.
The yips.
I hit a ball like in the woods, and this guy's like, first he finds my ball, which I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be trouble. And then he goes and
Stranger?
a stranger that I get paired because I play him by myself.
like,
It's an
digging in the woods
afternoon
for
in the
your ball?
weekday. Yeah, no. And then he basically becomes my caddy for the round. He's like scouting out. He's like, you don't want to be right here. You know what I mean? This is my home course. I know where I don't want to be, but he's invested and got me a 74. I don't think I shoot that
Dude,
without him.
Yeah, I was gonna say this doesn't count as your personal record
Why?
because you had this guy help.
I had a caddy. It
Good
was
guy of
great.
the year nominee. That is
Oh, it was great.
strangers like
Yeah.
trying to fight. Like if I'm playing with you and I
And
don't know
signed my scorecard.
you.
Like he was like, people aren't gonna believe you, so he signed the scorecard.
If I'm playing with
It
you
was pretty
and I
epic.
don't know you and you hit the ball into the woods, I just say, sucks to be you, man.
Yeah,
I'll see you up
exactly.
there.
No,
I'm not going to look in the
this
woods.
guy beat me to the woods,
That's
and he was making it happen. So yeah, I mean, I'm playing a lot of golf. It's great.
Did he like
Best sport in the world.
as he walked away? Did he fade, like just completely disappear like a ghost? Was he like Bagger Vance or something?
No, he was like a pro at Paso Robles, like another course up there, and he was like, I like to play the other club corp courses, so I'm just out here and
Last time I got
was
paired up
great.
with a stranger, it was a guy who told me he was the John Daly of is the Hooters tour the tour?
Yeah,
Which is actually kind of wild that John Daly of the but
I really have the
he
Hooters.
his son, by the way, John Daly Jr. or what I think.
yeah, signed. That's what I
signed
mean.
the
That's why
Hooters
it's like
deal.
it's. I never like made that connection, but he told me he was he was like semi-pro golfer, and he was incredible. The dude's out there. He had a cigarette in his mouth the whole round, the entire round. Like as he's swinging,
Respect.
he's got to sit and he's just sticking darts on every. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen because that was the last time I got paired with a stranger, and he was doing the same thing where he's like kind of caddying for me, and he's telling me to. And he would give me reads. I'd have like a long putt. We're playing a rustic canyon. And,
Yeah.
Like
Good
huge
course.
greens. They have like clown show greens that are just like massive, but then
It's
it's
fun
like
though, yeah.
all these. So he'd come over and be like, "Let me see what you got here," and he just dropped the ball. He'd be like, "What I do is this right here," and he's got a cigarette in his mouth, and he'd smack it and then just stick it like an inch from the
Yeah.
cup, and I'm like, "Are you shitting me, this
Dude,
guy?"
the best.
That was a fun round. So, anyway. Should we talk about basketball? What's going on in the world? Jay Wright retires. Should we start with that? I feel
Yeah.
like that's the big news that we missed. That's the big
That's what everyone was waiting. Like, when that happened, people were like,
emergency
podcast.
Yeah. And I that was never gonna happen because I was
I was playing golf.
I was
You
like
were at the
4
beach.
Coors Lights in
Yeah.
on the beach. Yeah. Yeah. And for some reason I felt a disturbance in the force. And I'm at the beach just enjoying myself. And I go and grab my phone and I have a couple texts. My brother texted me. I think my dad texted me too. Like Jay Wright. My dad is I've said this before. My dad's the king of no context text. Where he just puts like Jay Wright
No
exclamation point.
Context is a great show.
Yeah. I'll just get text from my dad that say Jay Wright exclamation point. I'm like, did he die? Like
Yeah,
did he-
what happened?
What happened?
Did he get a
Did he
5-star
get
in the
fi-
portal?
Yeah. Is he coming to Indiana? Is like my dad, did I miss that? Did Indiana just hire Jay Wright? So then I check and I have that moment of like a 5-minute window where I'm like, do I need to fire off some tweets? Do I need to fire off my take? Do we need to do an emergency podcast? And then I decided, no, we don't. I think we enjoy the offseason, Tate. I think
Yeah.
finding a good work-life balance is important. I think Jay Wright, and I think
He wouldn't have wanted us
that's
to.
what he would have wanted.
Yes.
Jay Wright is proving that like what he would want us to do is find the work-life balance, which is why he's stepping away at 60 years old. And that's why I cracked open another Coors Light. I toasted Jay Wright, and I said, "This one's for you, Coach.
Yeah.
We'll cover it in 10 days when we do another show."
Yeah,
or
exactly. And
whatever.
we'll talk about it, at a leisurely pace, just like he would like. And at the end of the day, at the Final Four, a friend of the program who is tied to the Villanova program mentioned to me, he said Jay Wright might leave. He might retire. And
Tate knew this one too.
No. And it was so far-fetched in my mind. I never even said anything about it because I was like, that is ridiculous. Jay Wright is the king of the mountain.
Yeah.
And there's no way that he's going to leave college basketball in a year that Coach K is leaving because it's no doubt about it.
Felt
He
like
would
the
be
path is like
Yes,
opening up for Jay Wright
exactly.
to now dominate the sport
exactly
with Coach K out of the
in
way.
another
Roy
Final
Williams out of the
Four.
way, and-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
So when it became official and he did the news was official.
Told
as
you
I said,
so. That's what I got.
It was funny because my dad says Jay Wright. I go get on Twitter and it was like a mixture of it was like he's
Shock?
considering no it
Oh,
was like
at the
before it was
start.
like
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
start it was like breaking news, Jay Wright is considering the idea of maybe retiring, and I was like, oh, but first of all, they're not going to put that out there unless he's probably retiring.
Yeah.
But I found the language interesting, and it was like he's considering whatever, and I was like, man, I don't know, maybe he'll have a change of heart. Maybe it's like Coach K with the Lakers. He was considering it.
Mhm.
He really thought about it. And then ultimately he got talked out of it.
I mean, there's
So-
rumors that the Hornets are thinking about Coach K.
Stop it. So stop.
Can we
Please
put?
stop.
Okay,
Stop it.
okay.
Put it
Back
over
to Jay
there.
Wright. Back to Jay Wright.
Don't do this to me. So I thought like at first I was like, oh, so there might be maybe he's doing this because he wants like Villanova people to talk him out of it. Is he doing this for a pay raise? Like it doesn't feel like a Jay Wright move, but I don't know. People surprise you. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, yep, there it is.
Yeah.
He's definitely retiring. I was shocked. You were shocked, I take it?
I was shocked.
Yeah. Okay.
John Rothstein said Jay Wright told me he is going to retire from the game of basketball, even though a video had just been posted with Jay Wright telling all of us. But yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I like I said, I had this like planted in my mind. It was incepted in my brain that it could happen. And then when I saw that, I was like, wow. So Jay Wright really was, like you said, he was just like, I'm done with this. I have seen everything. I've seen the mountaintop twice. I have come back down. I have climbed back up again. And I look around and I say, who am I doing this for? My resume is set. He just went in the Hall of Fame in 2021. You've checked all the boxes that you wanted to check. When he took over at Villanova, they hadn't been to a Sweet 16 since 1987. So it was something that, like, it wasn't.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy literally came in and was like, I know we're national champions. I know we're Villanova basketball, but let's shoot back up. And then, takes them to 4 Elite Eights, 3 Final Fours, 2 national champions. You start doing all the math. You're like, this guy made them a blue blood, maybe lowercase blue blood. But at the end of the day, they're in the conversation as a blue blood. And they used to be David versus Goliath when we had Georgetown taking on Villanova, and it's all because of Jay Wright.
My initial reaction was he must love Colin Gillespie more than I originally realized.
He's like, I can't do it without Gillespie.
I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Which is very similar to Psycho T, Tyler Hansbrough, because a lot of people were like, Roy Williams, can he coach again? Because without Tyler Hansbrough, what is he?
Or he hates Archie Giacono. Not Ryan, Chris. He hates Chris Archidiakono. He's like, you're the next one
little
up.
Arch. Yeah.
He's like, you're next one up. I've seen you play enough. I can't do this.
Not my tempo.
I gotta get out of here. No, my respect for Jay Wright could not be any higher for how he chose to go out, which is to say that he just on a Wednesday just let the news leak. But then the question becomes, if we're gonna talk about Coach K, a man who did respect the recruits, does Jay Wright not respect his recruits?
Ooh,
because he didn't give him a heads up.
But they're not 5 stars, you know what I mean? And they're not building generational wealth, because that is what Duke is providing these kids, generational wealth. So maybe it's not the same stakes. So that's why Jay Wright did not actually let down the recruits.
His recruits aren't real people because they're not 5 stars.
Exactly.
They don't matter.
Yeah, they don't have that potential.
But for him to go out this way, and to be, to be in the prime of his career, I mean, I don't think that's in dispute, is it? That he was this last 5-year stretch he's been on is
no, he literally left the game.
The height, he lost.
I mean, yeah, but
Final Four. But I know what you mean.
Perceptive wise, you know what I mean? Like
the second K retired, everyone was like, Jay Wright's the
best coach in college basketball. So he left the game as the best coach in college basketball. And Kansas fans, I mean, they're going to yell Bill Self from the mountaintops, and I think Bill Self now
he is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
But to do it in a way that like college basketball coaching, and Mike Krzyzewski taught us this, Jim Boeheim is going to continue teaching us this for the next 25 years. Tom Izzo is teaching us this. Not that I'm calling for Tom Izzo to retire, but also at the same time, like there's an idea as fans, as people that are really invested in this stuff, and you observe the way these guys behave, that they know nothing else. They can't step away. This is I mean, for God's sakes, like I know it's loaded to mention this name, but it's the first example that came to mind, that Joe Paterno, when he's no longer the coach at Penn State and he died like 5 months later.
Yeah, it was like the identity was
like his entire, obviously other stuff going on that may or may not have stressed him out and added to his demise. But that's kind of how we view, in Bobby Bowden, same sort of deal. Like, you're just going to coach till you're a million years old. Why would you step away now? Why would you ever? And for Jay Wright to be like, I am extremely rich. I've done everything I need to do to prove to anybody that I can do this. The timing is interesting, just in the sense that, like, I don't know what exactly the motivations were behind. What was it, just turning 60 and you kind of have like that crisis of like, oh damn, that's older. That feels a lot older than 59.
I think there's some personal stuff too that I think he's tending to. So I mean, I think it's more of life than basketball.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it seems like just a basketball decision, but it's a larger.
60 still feels pretty young to me. Like that was the part of it too. It's like I don't. The guy can make his own call and everything else, but like if I would have, for me, like in observing this, I thought this is something that maybe even if you're someone that's like, I got to find the work life balance, I got to explore other things in my life. I don't want to be a guy who dies on the sideline. I still feel like you retire when you're 65 or 66 or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So even then, even factoring that in, it still felt extremely early, which is why I think it was such a shock. And I'm a guy who has very openly and will continue to very openly let everybody know the second that I make millions of dollars, I am retiring. I don't care if it's next week or in 40 years, whatever it is. When I have the financial means, I am done. I do not do this for the love of the game. I do this for money. I do this for fame. I do this for adoration.
What are you, Ben Simmons?
That's it.
What is happening?
And I do this for clout. And these are the only reasons I do this. So when I have all those things secure, I'm out. I'm out.
Ben 10, I'll see you 10 years. Can we, I mean, as we talk about Jay Wright, can we just go ahead? You mentioned Coors Light earlier. Can we give him the king of the mountain now that we're back? Can we
Oh, yeah.
can we crown him the king of the mountain and give a shout out to Coors Light? And that is the one that I choose when I need to unwind. So when you want to hit reset, reach for beer that's made to chill. You mentioned millions of dollars. There you go. Get Coors Light in the new look delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/TNT. Please celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the final homage that we can pay to Jay Wright. He is the king of the mountain. He deserves to be the king of the mountain. And I saw him throwing out the first pitch at the Phillies game with the new head coach, Kyle Neptune, and he looks like a happy camper.
That's
you know
the
what I mean?
phase of I mean, I want the best coaches to coach college basketball. Like I'm not asking for Tom.
We lost two good ones.
Yeah, we lost a lot of good men out there.
Yeah.
I don't want these guys to retire, but I think because like Jay Wright retires and from where I was sitting, Tate, it felt like it was a launching point of discussions about like why is he retiring and why did Roy Williams just suddenly retire and Coach K finally choosing to step down. Is this an indictment on where college sports are as a whole? And then like that discussion starts happening about the transfer portal, name, image, likeness, and maybe we can have that discussion if you want, if you're so inclined. So then there's this idea that like losing these guys, these titans of this game that have been around forever, and if you're in college now, you don't remember a time when Mike Krzyzewski and Jay Wright and Roy Williams and Jim Boeheim and Bill Self and on down the line, all of these guys have been in the game forever, and now they're slowly one by one stepping away. Is this good for the sport? I think it's great for the sport if you have a situation like Jay Wright where he steps away. It was great for the sport to have Roy Williams like at every North Carolina game, and he's like their biggest cheerleader.
And that's what Jay Wright's going to do.
If that's what like is next, if the next wave of college basketball is guys retiring early to then be cheerleaders for the programs that they help build, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Me too.
I'm a fan of that.
Me too.
And I think that's a good thing.
And I think that a lot of people were trying to shame Roy Williams during the season, being like, why is he hovering over the program? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And then Roy was like, I have to pull away. I won't even go in the locker room because I don't want people to say that stuff. But I think in the end, because of the success, a lot of people kind of wavered on those opinions or whatever. And Jay Wright's going to be in the building. He's going to be in the community. He already said he's going to be around. And I want to see Jay Wright. And I want Jay Wright to be visible. I want Jay Wright to be on television. I want him to do and be an ambassador for college basketball because we love Jay Wright. You know, I don't want to lose Jay.
We love you. Jay, when you come work for Fox, because you're probably good. Let's
Fox
be honest.
guy.
We know where
Company
this is
man.
going.
Yeah.
Jay's coming to work for us. Come on the show, Jay.
See our new Steve Lavin?
He is. That's what I was going to say. He's taking Lav's spot. I don't know if that's true.
Shout out to Coach Lav, by the way.
I have not talked to anybody at Fox about this, but
no, but we're gonna recklessly speculate.
We're gonna recklessly
Jay Wright to Fox.
Jay Wright to Fox is
and then
a done deal.
Then on our show, as part of the deal. Remember how Andy in his contract he had like he has to appear on Titus and Tate, which was hilarious. I want that in Jay Wright's contract.
Jay Wright's
at least
contract.
one appearance.
When Fox, I said Fox like it's like John Fox is the guy that
Hey,
runs
what's
Fox.
up, Fox? Hey, Fox.
Hey, yo, Fox.
What if it was Jamie Foxx and he just ran Fox?
Shout out to John Fox, by the way. That
Great coach.
I was thinking of a Fox, and that was the first one that came to mind. That's a big win for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
That I didn't think of Red Fox or Jamie Foxx.
But he is spelled proper Fox. He doesn't have the extra X. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Michael J.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Michael J.
Wow.
I didn't think about
That's the number one Fox.
My mind went to John Fox.
Oh man.
If Jay Wright is taking Steve Lavin's job,
Mm-hmm.
he has to come on our show.
Facts.
Constantly.
Facts.
Just like
you know how close Coach Lav and I were. I mean, we're linked in for life. You know what I mean? So I need Coach Wright to have that same energy. We need to bring him on. He needs to wear a Nike tracksuit, kind of like what Lav did, and just sit down and let it out.
Does Lavin take the Villanova job?
He's the
They
San
just
Diego
swap?
coach.
Yeah.
He's at San Diego. We weren't Jim. We weren't calling for Jim. Did you think that like Steve Lavin was
Here?
gainfully sitting over there?
he's gainfully employed by Fox?
And
we
we're
were
like,
calling
get him
for-
out of here.
Exactly.
No, he's a head coach.
Just looking out for him.
Thank you, Jim.
Can you imagine doing that? Like saying that, like saying Jay Wright, like calling out a guy in media that has a job, and like
that
saying
you
Jay
should
Wright,
replace-
fire that man and put Jay Wright in a
Mhm.
spot, dude.
I think you should.
What an ass
Anyone
to do
that does that should probably just give up their spot.
You first, buddy. Speaking of recklessly speculating, why do you think? I know Jay Wright's done like 1,000 interviews and he's made it perfectly clear why he's doing this, why he's stepping down.
Yes.
But let's ignore all of those and discuss why we think Jay Wright is. Do you think it's a transfer portal? Or do you think it's name, image, likeness stuff? What do you think?
I heard it was because he couldn't redshirt players
That's
without
what he
them
wanted to do.
transferring.
Yes. You say that jokingly, but hearing you say that,
There's like a little nugget of truth in there.
no, not with Jay Wright, but just
Oh,
in general. Like, is
yeah.
there a program that like can you redshirt guys anymore?
No,
I don't think you can.
no.
I don't- I really-
you
I
could
really
you
don't
could
know what
redshirt like a Luke May type. You know what I mean? That kind of is a preferred walk on for.
You could
like,
redshirt
yeah.
guys that the Indiana example might be Anthony Leal, who's like
Mhm.
a local kid and grew up loving the Hoosiers. And if Mike Woodson with Anthony Leal was like, we need you to become a manager this year and not actually be a player. That's what we think's best for the team. He'd be like, whatever you need, coach. Like I
Yeah.
just love the Hoosiers. I love the candy stripe.
Those are the
I'm here to help.
yeah. Those are the red shirts.
I think you could redshirt those kids that just like would do anything it takes to play on these teams.
Mhm.
But you were joking, but just thinking about that in the moment, like I'm like, yeah, I think the red shirt's dead now. I don't know how you can redshirt guys and
And not have some other coach say, "I'll pay you $50,000
Yeah.
come here and play." I mean, even if you
Oh.
don't get redshirted and you don't play, you're going to get recruited off teams. We already see that.
Yeah,
I mean, there were guys on Carolina's bench I won't name that did not play in the championship game or in the Final Four that were getting six-figure offers to leave.
yeah, Kerwin Walton.
Oh, there you
I
go.
could see the right. I mean, I was recruiting him to Ohio State when I after
Yeah, you were
the
DMing
Baylor.
him.
Dude, I was watching the Baylor game. I was DMing Kerwin Walton during the Baylor game as Carolina's throwing it all over the floor.
You know you'd see the court in this game with
Every
Yeah.
second of the second half, you're like, man, if only Carolina had more guards out there to help to help bring the ball up the floor.
Yeah. Where can they
But,
find these guys?
Where can they find these guards? And I'm DMing
How do I
Kerwin
reach
Walton.
these
I'm like,
kids?
Kerwin, Ohio State, do it.
The portal.
So what the portal and name, image, likeness, and this current state of college basketball that has
It's a good seminal moment to get out. It's like either adapt or leave.
yeah. What I was gonna say, what it's done to me though, is I definitely can't bring myself to care that much about like the first month of the offseason, like this period we're in right now, where the Carolina guys are saying they're coming back, and that puts them at probably number 1 preseason.
Mhm.
Now
That's what
these
Andy
guys,
Katz said.
these guys are in the portal, and these guys are basically all the fluidity of everything.
Mhm.
I think the last couple years I've been I've tried to get into it in the way like the NBA people get into their little free agency period.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
like, oh my god, this is crazy. This league in all caps. But I realized this year, I think this is the year where I'm out on it. Not in like I want them to change the rules. I'm out on it as a consumer of the content, where I'm just like, dude, just call me like.
When it's set.
Just tell me when it's set.
Yeah.
Tell me when you have your team, then I'll pop in and I'll see what you got there. But like, I'm not interested in the where's Terrence Shannon gonna go? He's in the portal, and Michigan's looking like a contender, but Carolina, don't count out Carolina, and maybe like Kentucky at the last second. What's Kentucky's roster spot like? Well, they do have the 4 guys, and if 3 of them stay in the draft, but the 4th comes back,
And then you got to
and then-
keep up with scholarships.
dude, I like who
Yeah.
can do all that? I
Mhm.
don't. And even if you could, why would you want to? Is my question. And that's
Yeah.
that's where I realized I was at, where I was trying to follow all the stuff going on, and I think ultimately that's where the old people that are complaining about this new iteration, a lot of the arguments are framed around like playing for the love of the game or whatever, or if you start paying players, then it's just going to be a pay to play deal where whoever's got the deepest pot. all those are. I ultimately think it comes down to this: the people that are complaining the most about the current state of college basketball are like me and are just too lazy to like follow all of the people, all the players.
Too much.
It's just too much going on.
Yeah.
It's too hard to consume it all.
When I saw a power rankings of the transfers that are in the portal, and then I saw that there were 1,400 players in the portal,
Yeah, dude.
I think my brain broke because I remember back in my day in the portal, it was 700 guys, and my brain broke. So
That
now
was a lot.
and that was 3 years ago, and now we've doubled that number to 1,400, and now we got guys that are winning Freshman of the Year in a major conference that just won the national championship that says, I need to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like that is why people, I think, in some sense, they're freaking out. And then on the other side, you have the people championing this and saying that these kids deserve.
But they're not. I'm going to stop you there. Nobody's actually championing this behind closed doors. That's what's interesting to me is that there's not a coach on. Eric Musselman has built a reputation as being a transfer guy.
He's a portal guy.
He was the portal OG guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that Muss likes this. I think Muss is just like, this is the game. I'm going to play the game and I'm going to beat everybody at it. Which, you know, kudos to him. Whatever.
Kudos.
But it does feel like every single person you talk to in college basketball is actually.
But you know who loves it? The NBA media. Yeah, that's who loves it. The draftniks, the guys that are coming up with their 15th iteration of a mock in the past week. They love the transfer portal, and they think that Ben Vanderplas is going to get a much better, bigger opportunity at Virginia, and they're excited to see him flourish. And now I grade him more as a fringe, maybe late first round guy. That's who loves the portal.
Do you take a flyer on him?
He's 2 years away from being 2 years away.
Give me your top 7. Take a flyer on him, guys.
Dude.
In this year's draft. I did a draft show.
Oh man,
I did
I'm
a show
sorry.
where we were talking about the draft, and I went in prepared to talk about like the guys that are probably going to go top 5, top 10, and then a couple things happened. Number one, I realized like Shaedon Sharpe's probably going to go in the top 10, right? I know nothing about this guy.
I've never seen him.
Never seen him play.
I could not tell you.
I don't know a damn thing about him.
There was all these rumors. I mean, I don't know if you've seen all the scuttlebutt like about his transcript.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Kentucky. There's.
I don't know all the details, so I don't want. But
there's trouble in Camelot over the Shaedon Sharpe situation.
A lot of conversation.
But then I also realized outside the top 10, like I haven't actually paid enough attention to who's staying in the draft and who's not, and who's testing the waters and who's coming.
Here's an easy breakdown for you. Everyone at Duke leaving.
Everyone
other than Jeremy Roach.
And then guys are making announcements now that aren't even good enough to warrant an announcement. They're saying they're coming back. Like if you're announcing you're coming back and you're not All-American, shut up.
Yeah, I mean that's facts.
Also, if you put your name in the portal and now you're coming back, I think you can announce. I think announce that you're coming back because like I think you swerved everybody, and when you put your name in the portal, everyone thinks you're leaving. So if you put your name in the portal, then a new coach is hired, and then you're like, you know what? I talked to the new coach. I decided I'm coming back. That might be worthy of an announcement to say you're coming back. But the dudes that are like just that are doing what I did as a joke after 2007 Final Four when I grabbed the microphone, I was like, I'm not. Everyone's sit chaining 1 more year. I'm okay. Fine. I'll come back. And it was supposed to be a joke. Dudes are doing that for real now, where they're putting out the graphics and saying, "I will not be going to Embassy Suites."
Well, yeah. The worst part about the graphic is that the paragraphs, like the first paragraph, is all like thanking God and thanking the team and thanking everybody. So you got to get down to the third paragraph before you realize what the decision is. And all of the first, no matter what the decision is, the first 2 paragraphs are written the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what the third block is, the first 2 are the exact same. So you're like reading through it, and then it's like,
with that being
said, I will return to UCLA. With that being said, I will test the waters. With that being said, I will go.
You know what this has done is it's made me appreciate Goodman and Rothstein and that crew of people that just because I used to hate that those guys just took these kids' moments and would tweet out where recruits are going 5 seconds before they announced it, or in some cases 5 minutes after they announced it, or whatever.
Told me.
But there is actually a lot of value in a kid puts out a 7-paragraph essay that's in a Photoshop picture of him with like flames coming out of his biceps, and he's got the Terminator eyes somehow. And the font is tiny and you can't read it. There is value in just like quote tweeting that and saying like Benedict Mathurin to the league, and that's it. Yeah. That's all you say. Like Benedict Mathurin is going to the NBA, hired agent.
Drew Timmy's was the best.
Using that, like having it baked down so I don't have to read through it all. I do actually appreciate it.
Yeah. Just give me the thesis statement. What are we saying here? We're saying we're leaving. The worst people are the test the waters crowd. You know what I mean? Which is like did they sign an agent? Or did they not sign?
I don't even know what the waters are anymore. Because you can sign agents, and if they're like NCAA certified, you can still come back.
Pick a side, fresh
So
or salt. I'm tired of the brackish waters. You know what I mean? Pick a side.
I don't even know what the waters are anymore. I don't recognize these waters.
I don't know these waters.
These waters. I do not know these waters. If these waters saw me on the streets, I would not recognize.
You're right. You're right.
That's where we arrive with it all. And again, I understand I sound like I'm 1,000 years old, but I think that's where the frustration comes from, is that like it's just frankly we're all like too lazy for this. Like it's like who could keep track of all this?
There's a player, I won't say his name, but I saw the scuttlebutt that was going on. They're like, he's testing the waters. He signed an agent, but then the backfire, and then people were like, well, he says he might come back, but then all the back channeling was, well, this agent is his NIL agent. It's not his what would be his NBA agent. So now you have like two other. You're like, I don't know what agent is which, and I don't know who you're signed with. And the NCAA, they like a lot of stuff is like being called NIL. That's just paying people. You know what I mean? It's not name, image, likeness deals. It's just like straight pay for play. But the NCAA has left it so open ended that it's kind of like a wink, wink. Like everyone, you're like, it's name, image, likeness. You know what I mean? That's also going on. So like,
isn't it?
It's crazy.
Again, this is hilarious because I'm supposed to know all this stuff, but like again, I've checked out. I'm done with it. I'm done trying to make sense of it all. It's federal law that foreigners can't profit off name, image, likeness because of some sort of green card thing. But then Sheboy is making $2 million because like Kentucky's found a loophole.
Yeah, they passed some sort of like law or whatever.
Which good,
good on them.
Good on them. They should be able to make the money.
But also Sheboy had to go like meet with Mitch McConnell. He had to pull like.
And all I'm saying is that is the part of basketball that I'm out on.
Yeah,
like that's
I'm out on that too.
That's the frustration for me, is that I'm going crazy watching the NBA try to become college basketball, in the sense of like the Adam Silver cannot figure out why 3 times as many people watch the first round of the NCAA tournament than watch the first round of the NBA playoffs, and all the NBA people are scratching their head like, how could that possibly be? You know what it is? It's probably because of the single elimination. It's the single. So
people want a tournament.
People want like a single. So we're gonna do the playing games, and then they also do like automatic bids in college. I think it's that too, is they do automatic versus like so we're gonna do. Should we do like a tournament in the middle of the season where there's like some sort of incentive there? We should just do more of the college stuff, and all the college people are like, we need to do the NBA's.
Yeah,
like
we have to. We have to adapt. The
name, image, likeness stuff could turn this into a 12-month a year sport where people are talking about guys transferring and signing NIL deals all off season, because that's sick, man. I see some of the tweets that are out there on NBA Twitter, and it's pretty fire. It's pretty dope. And this is Mark Emmert saying this in an NCAA meeting. What if we did some of that, you guys? And they're just like, it's driving me crazy because that's not the way it's supposed to work. They're supposed to be two separate entities. It's like the waters are murky.
They're brackish.
I don't understand.
These are brackish waters.
I don't like it.
We're freshwater guys.
Yeah.
Or saltwater. I don't know what water we are, but we're not in the middle.
I'm both waters. Sometimes I like going to the lake. Sometimes I like going to the beach. I just want to know that, like,
I want to know where I am.
I don't want to go to the lake and say like, we put a bunch of salt in here and we have an artificial wave machine.
And let me enjoy where I am. Let me enjoy the locale that I'm supposed to be in. Stop trying to make it different. Stop trying to put beaches at the lake.
So with that being said, is college basketball ruined, do you think? Do you think like Nigel Pack getting here's the other question I have. Why do I know how much money Nigel Pack got to go to Miami and how much money Oscar Tshiebwe got to come back to Kentucky, but some of the other deals we don't know? That's interesting to me. Like, why is some of
all the Carolina guys came back for the love of the game? I mean,
what it was?
Yeah, I love that.
I do think the one thing the NBA has figured out with the free agency part is doing it all on the same day. It's not all on the same day, but they have save the announcements for this day, and then this is our window. You know,
Woj, Shams, get out there.
Do we need that in college basketball, or is implementing that becoming more like the NBA, and we shouldn't be actively implementing stuff like that. But it would make it a lot easier to follow because
Yeah.
when you
I
have
just need
guys
like a website that's like transferportal.com, and I click on it and it has like a ranking, and then it has like previous team, new team, or like unknown. Like I just
I
need
think our guy
updates.
Evan Miyakawa made that.
He did?
I think he really did.
Why is our guy?
I think he has like his ratings of the best,
Okay,
the
well,
best transfers in the portal.
Let me go to his website.
I think he does.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I need. And I don't think anyone else, wants to keep up with that. No one wants to stay in the minutia of it 24/7. Like you said, set your rosters. Tell me how many scholarships you have.
Here's why I think it's
Let's
so
do it.
fascinating to me is because unlike a lot of the other stuff like a Coachella or a TikTok or whatever else the kids are into these days that
Mhm.
I just simply don't get. This isn't an instance where there's someone on the other side. There's some like 15-year-old on a bird scooter like doing the fake dip thing with his fingers.
Dude,
It's
you're
like
right. He does have that. Evan's amazing.
yeah.
Good job.
There you go. There's unlike some of that other stuff. There's not a kid on the other side that's like get with the times, old man, and grabbing his nuts as he peels off in his bird
Mhm.
scooter or whatever. No one on the other side understands this. Like the people there's nobody that loves name, image, likeness. They love the end result and they love the idea of the players getting paid, which I do too. And I love that that's where we've arrived. There's not a soul on earth that like loves the implementation of this and is like, this is a great system. And I think this system, because
Yes.
no one understands it.
Exactly.
No one knows what it is.
Well,
It's the Wild West, and that's what's
Yeah.
like. That's what's crazy to me is that
That's what
like
I mean by
every
NIL. Everything is not NIL.
every single person you talk to in college basketball, the coaches, the administrators, the for God's sakes, the players themselves are like. We'll talk to guys that are on teams that are some of them have transferred, and even they're like, dude, it's crazy out there. it's a crazy world. Nobody understands what it is, and I think that's what's fascinating is because everybody is in agreement that this is wild. This is the Wild West. We don't know what it is, and yet there's like this public persona PR game you have to play where no one you have to be careful. You can't be the guy that comes out and says like this is ruining college basketball because if you are, you're a grandpa and you're going to get run over, and
Yeah.
you have to adapt and get with the times and all that. I find that fascinating because behind closed doors, every single person is like a little bit scared or a little bit unsure, a little bit like, what is this
Which
mean?
is why the Jay Wright, Roy Williams scuttlebutt of like, why are they really leaving has some
Yeah.
legs amongst people because everyone deep down has that deep-seated
Everybody.
fear of, wait a second, are we going to lose the reins of this? Where it goes completely off the rails and
Yeah, and yes, we are. I'm here to tell you, we
Yeah.
are. I'm here to tell you, in our lifetime,
yeah.
as long as we live,
Well, I mean, we joked
long as
about
we don't
this
die
once upon a
soon.
time about, college is just becoming pro sports. I mean, think about how many employees like North Carolina University has. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be some time where they're like, I guess we're gonna have to add 100 more employees for the football team, and 22 more employees for the basketball teams, and da 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 da. And that might be the world we live in, and it's pro sports or semi-pro.
I think they're taking the quotes away. That's what I think's happening. I think
Yeah.
I think college sports have always been, there's always been the student athlete joke, and there's like a tug of war between like
Yeah.
keeping the facade up, and maintaining this idea that there's a we go pro in something other than sports, and
Mhm.
that's what's fueled the NCAA forever. And I think this is like the start of it all chipping away. And that's not me hitting the panic button. It's just like it's plain as day, dude. Like it's going to happen in our lifetimes that college sports are going to become professional sports with no quotes.
Which
It's
is,
going to be exactly what it is.
I would be very worried.
There's
if
no
I were
way it
the
can't.
NBA.
Yeah.
Because like I care way more about Carolina basketball than the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Duke fans care way more about Duke basketball than the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
And Wake Forest than the Charlotte Hornets. You know what I mean? That's just the facts of life. And I mean, that would be something. The SEC, right? The NFL, that would be terrible for them. Alabama football fans are like, all right, I'm watching Alabama. I don't care about
Yes.
this. This is our pro sports, and
I
these
mean-
guys can play for as long as they want to.
The
And we
NFL's
paid
already
them?
declared war on the NBA by doing the Christmas games. You see that?
Yeah, I like that.
Dude. But that like the structure of it's
Roger Goodell's like, finish them.
that's pretty much what it's become though. But like every league is just becoming like there is no respect, I guess, for like the other,
Yeah, no,
Like, it's not like they're-
everyone's trying to take the whole pie.
everyone wants the whole pie. That's exactly it.
And why can't you share the pie? and no one knows why, but they're not going to do it. And that we're going to be in this weird murky waters.
I feel like you and I are both arriving at the point where we're just like, capitalism, God.
Well, I mean, it's like
we don't love that we got here.
We love the game. Like at the end of the day, if I was driving in today, right?
Yeah.
This is a perfect example, and this relates all back to Ben Simmons. I'm driving in my car. I got an Apple. I'm eating an Apple. There's trash cans. I'm driving through the canyons. There's trash cans on the side. I shoot every single time the Apple when I get done with it. Try to make it in trash cans. You know what I mean? Because like I love shooting. I love it's like a game to me. You know what I mean? I love playing the game. Ball is life. Like that, I want to shoot any chance that I get in this life. Whenever we go in a gym, you and I are like, "Can you give me a basketball? Like I'm itching to shoot right now." And then I watch a guy who's getting paid $100 million, and in his shoot around, he's passing around. You know what I mean?
He doesn't want to shoot.
He doesn't want to shoot around.
When there's no pressure. It's not even about
I want to shoot an apple in a bin as I'm driving by because I just want to shoot something. You know what I mean? Because I love it. I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to golf right now. I love the game. So I can't understand people that don't love.
Are you stopped at the stoplight, or are you like going 60 miles an hour?
No, I mean it's traffic. So like, I mean, I was going by about like 10, and then like I see it in front of me, and then I gauge it out, and I try to time it perfectly to make it.
You're doing it out the passenger window?
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
That's love of the game, baby. Jim, you don't understand.
I was 3 for 3 today. I threw a drink in, threw an apple in, and threw a wrapper in. I was driving by. Pretty good. But I just say that like I want to shoot. You know what I mean? Shoot or shoot. This man does not even want to play the game. You got to love the game.
Ridiculous analogy aside, or example aside, I know
we love the game. Yeah.
And I guess what like as I've gotten older and I observe the state of where basketball's at, where it's going, all of that sort of stuff, Tate. Like you realize it is inevitable, and if they blew up college, all the NCAA like just ceased to exist. We had to start from scratch with the college sports model. And you started with the exact same thing they started with in the 1920s, and that is the model. We're going to run it again. Let's see if this time maybe we can get it right. It's going to happen again. Like no matter how many times you run the algorithm, it's going to spit out like, let's throw more money at this. Money equals success. Like it becomes corrupt. It becomes an arms race. Like we're always going to lead to this point. And the same is true with the NBA. Like the reason you have guys like Ben Simmons that don't love the game, but like are still there is because they're paid an insane amount of money. If these guys were making $100,000 a year like they were in the 60s and 70s, I bet you would probably weed out the guys that don't want to be there.
But for whatever reason, he feels like the first one that I genuinely can point to and say OJ Mayo loved basketball. You know what I mean? Like he's the first one I can look at and I can see that it does not matter. And the guy likes playing Call of Duty, and he's shooting all the time in that game. Like someone convinced him that he'd shoot on the court.
But even that example, the NBA, like you're still going to get to that point because that if you blew up the NBA and you start paying guys $100,000 a year every single season, you're still going to look up in 50 years and there's going to be guys with $24 million contracts. That's just, like that's how it's always going to work. So I guess I want to make this point that like the part of you that I don't even know if it's nostalgic or just like you sense the world around you's changing and you want the old system because there was as dumb as it was corrupt back in the day. College sports were corrupt. We understand that, but there was like a purity to it. There's a purity to the corruption, Tate. The way that
rules to the game.
There were rules to the game. It was markedly different college basketball versus the NBA. I don't think it's going to be in 20 years. I think they're going to slowly merge into the exact same thing until the full-on competition happens where they are in direct competition with one another.
NBA,
and March Madness turns into June Madness, so it can go up against the NBA Finals, and there can only be one, and that's where we arrive. But there is a sense of like complaining about this stuff does make you like you're not with the times, or you're the most extreme examples. If you're a college basketball fan and you want the old system where players aren't jumping around, transferring everywhere and getting name, image, likeness deals, you're a racist, Tate, obviously, because that is literally slavery. And like these are things that we hear all the time, loving college basketball. And I guess what's frustrating is that you can at the same time want the players to get paid, understand that like this is an inevitable conclusion. We are going to move towards player empowerment, players transferring, all that's like, this is all good. This is all, it's inevitable. There's no stopping it, whatever. But at the same time, say, I miss the old product. Like it makes for a bad product.
Yeah.
You can have that opinion. I don't necessarily have that opinion. I think college basketball is great. It's going to continue to be great. But it does feel like if you complain about any of the changes going on,
No, there's nuance to the conversation.
you can like bemoan. You can be like, man, it sucks that these changes are. It like in the same way, it sucks that I am just simply getting older. Like I hate that. I hate that I have to stretch for 30 minutes before I go play basketball now. I hate that. That's a reality. It's how it works. There's nothing I can do to change that, but I do hate it. And I think that's where we're at with college sports, is where it's like you can't even like kind of talk about this stuff. You can't, if you're someone who says I hate name, image, likeness, and I hate the transfer portal, you're immediately cast as a person who does not want the players to have rights, that the players should suffer, that the coaches should be. That's not the case. I'm all for, like, I understand that that's what needs to happen, but at the same time, like, the game has changed, and I kind of don't recognize the sport because that is where we're going. I mean, like, it's going to be in 20 years, it's going to be unrecognizable from when we were growing up.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like it's two sides. It's a sliding doors moment, for lack of a better term, and that's why it makes sense why Kay and Roy, and Jay Wright, and probably Tom Izzo very soon, they are of the old guard, and they're going to bid their due. And then the best thing that we can do in this new iteration of it is try to hope that we don't have the certain type of characters who do not have the best interest of these kids actually running and ruling the sport and not teaching the game. I mean, that the biggest thing that I am worried about is that the game of basketball was taught through school, starting with Chuck Taylor and Hubie Brown. I mean, you move on through history, and that is where the game was taught, and then it was grown, and then you can see the fundamentals at the highest level when you watch the NBA, and you're like, I recognize that is the game played at the highest level. I'm worried that that's lost in translation along the path, and that is what worries me, because it all comes back to the game. I'm worried that the game is going to look so foreign and so different that I don't recognize it, and it doesn't relate the same way, and that's why people got mad at Steph Curry. Because they're like, I have never in my life seen someone on a 2-on-1 fast break and the other guy runs to the 3-point line. I don't recognize it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was where the frustration came from. And that is what and I don't think that's bad at all. I mean, that's just like things that change and they evolve. But that is what the concern would be. This game is not the same.
And the response is, well, adapt or die. And what if I don't even know if I feel this way. I'm just trying to like understand this viewpoint. Like if you're an older person, what if you just say, no, I don't think I will. Like, I don't think like you're like, listen, bro, that's the way the NBA's played. We're going to shoot 43s a game. You just got to get with the times or you're just like, no, I'm just not going to.
That's
just not going to. That's
what the Suns and the Bucks said. They said, we're going to dominate inside out and we're going to dominate in the mid range, and they won, because that's how you win basketball games when it comes.
I don't know, man.
Comes down to it.
You're right, though. There's a difference between the game and I guess that's why I've been
business.
That's why I've been out on the NBA since Kevin Durant ruined. That's why
the business and the show of it all has ruined the game in the NBA.
Do you care about the game or do you care about the league?
Yeah, I care about the game.
And I've always the NBA to me was always a college all-star league. It was like the best. I watched college basketball. Everyone I grew up around and everyone I knew watched college basketball. The idea of people not watching college basketball but being basketball fans was insane.
Well, it didn't make sense.
Made zero sense. So I always viewed the NBA as you're watching a lot of college basketball, you're watching a lot of the NBA because all these guys you watched in college then go to the NBA and now they make like all-star teams. And that's how the system works. And it's like the difference between the NBA and college, if you turn it on, then you would actually watch the game. The skill level was obviously very different, but the way the game was played was not that much.
And it wasn't life or death. You know what I mean? When I watched the NBA games, it was like, oh, great. Hope Antoine Jameson plays great tonight for the Wizards. You know what I mean? But it was like, I'm just pulling for him because he went to my college and now he's in the league and, that's my connection and yada, yada, yada. That is what it is. But now it feels totally different.
Now it's now it's like you can care about the game or you can care about the league, but they're like kind of not mutually the same exclusive, and they're not.
Yeah.
And then now college basketball was always like, that was like the moral high ground we had was like, we were more in tune with the game than the NBA was.
We played basketball.
Yeah. And now college basketball, I don't know if they're going towards I don't know. The waters are murky, Tate.
Correct.
Water's all over the place. We're trying to make sense of it all. But no, I do think we're headed towards professional basketball and at the college level. And I think anyone that doesn't like that's not even an alarmist take. I think that's like a very
No, it's
obvious
the
like
obvious.
that's so obviously where we're going. And
Yeah.
the alarmist take would be it's going to impact March Madness because all the power conferences are going to say like the hell with St. Peter's, dude. Like why was St. Peter's even in the tournament in the first
Well,
place?
did you see the Notre
Why
Dame
why
AD
would
just said that?
yeah.
He said by the time that he retires, that he thinks that the Power Five will have their own
NCAA
conference,
tournament.
like own
Yeah.
division,
Their
own
own.
everything, own league, Super League, which we joked about last year about them forming a Super League, the SEC.
That's what the SEC is trying to do, yeah.
But those other conferences are like, we don't want to lose the SEC, so why don't we just join up with them and form a super conference? And then we get rid of the St. Peter's, and then they don't realize the ripple effect is like, then you disconnect from all of these smaller schools that have this chance to be on the same stage. Now you lose their interest, and now they don't want to be a part of it. It's just yeah. Let's
all
hope.
of this is to say I'm 34 years old. You're what, 28, 29?
Yeah.
And we kind of are we kind of don't understand what's going on. I can't imagine being a Jay Wright, being a Roy Williams, being a Boeheim's in it just because Boeheim's trying to catch K at this point, right? Like Boeheim's going to die on the sideline. Yeah.
I mean, like we talked about, if Jay Wright's, kid was on the team and I think he's still coach. You know what I mean? Like I think
true.
like the lifestyle for
Yeah.
Jim Boeheim, of course he loves the lifestyle. He gets to go to
And he doesn't watch
Carrabba's.
film. He doesn't watch film. Jim Boeheim has said for years, he's like, I don't mess with that. I don't mess with film. So like maybe the demands of the job,
A little less.
which are bearing themselves out when you watch Syracuse basketball these days. You're like, yeah, it kind of checks out that Jim Boeheim's not grinding tape.
Yeah, he's not watching film. Who watches more film, Jim Boeheim or Ryan Russillo? That's a landslide. It's a landslide.
Oh man. So I guess to bring it full circle, I understand why those discussions happen. The next guy that retires, everyone's gonna say is this because of the name, image, likeness, and portal stuff. And they can say it's not all they want, but like Roy never said that, right? Like Roy never like explicit. But like I said, there is a song and dance to that because at the moment, if Roy Williams retired, he goes to his retirement press conference and say, Roy, why are you doing this? And he's like, name, image, likeness, and transfer portal is changed the game to the point that I don't even recognize it. So I'm just stepping away because this whatever this is has passed me by.
Yeah.
He knows that the takeaway is that he wants to like keep players under his thumb and he wants like players to not have
But the reality of the
freedom
situation is that Roy Williams is one of the best recruiters in college basketball history. As an assistant coach, he recruited Michael Jordan. I mean, you go through like who he recruited and who went to go play for the guy, one of the best recruiters ever. But the pageantry of recruiting to him was people. And it was always primarily people and having those conversations as people. Now you go into a meeting with a kid and their family, you're talking business.
Yeah.
And I think that has something to do with it too. Like it's tailored differently. And you're like, that's just not
what I'm saying is it 100% had something to do with why Roy retired, but he will never say it publicly.
Of course.
He can't. And I guess that's fascinating to me is because like we all know what's going on, but at the same time, we can't say it, but at the same time, everybody's saying it.
Yeah, to each other.
At the same time.
Everyone
like, what is this era we found ourselves in? So I kind of just want to hit the fast forward button, and I'm just like, just break the dam already. Just like let it go. Let's stop having the Wild West. Let's like actually establish
what are the regulations here. Yeah, like are there? What is this? Yeah, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So that's that. What else is going on?
I don't know. I think that was like a good offseason NIL.
We'll probably talk about it again.
Of course. Well, there will be more and more updates, but I think that was a good dump.
Do you have NBA thoughts? I'm recording this. The Nets and the Celtics are about to tip off. I think game 4, but
yeah, I mean, my main thought is like going into the playoffs. I thought that it was going to be the Bucks and the Suns again. I thought the Suns were going to have the bodies to beat the Bucks. I thought they had 4 guys that could take 20 fouls, whatever, 25 fouls away from Giannis. And with this whole Devin Booker thing, I've been thrown for a loop. I really thought the Suns were going to win the title. Mm-hmm. And the Pelicans, I mean, that is my favorite series so far, the Suns and the Pelicans. So I've been locked in on that series. The Celtics and the Nets, I mean, that's
You think the Pelicans can beat the Suns?
I think the Suns are going to win the series, but I think the Pelicans are going to take them to 7.
Dude. Remember we were in New Orleans and shout out our guy Derek, and we were a
Derek
local.
knew.
He's a local. He's a New Orleans guy, and we were out to lunch with him, and I said something about like I was like, being a small market guy, it sucks knowing that you're never gonna win an NBA title and you're never actually gonna be good. Like it sucks like being from a part of the country where
Yeah.
the
We were
NBA,
saying that as Pacers, Hornets.
yeah,
You know what
as
I mean?
as
Like-
the NBA is currently constructed, like the two examples are that buck that trend are Giannis going to the Bucks,
Yeah.
where I guess that's one of the blueprints is like draft a foreign guy that doesn't realize that Milwaukee is not as cool as New York and
No, he
whatever,
realizes
LA,
it. He
or
just like
doesn't
he just
care.
like they love me when I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
nobody. Which
yeah.
yeah.
Because I feel the same way with Jokic in Denver. That like I don't really get it. I could be proven wrong, but I don't get a sense that he's trying to get out of Denver to go
No.
to
I mean,
play for the Clippers.
even
or, like,
Embiid in Philly. I mean, Embiid's like, I'm happy here.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah, this is
going
what-
anywhere.
yeah, I don't. Yeah. So your hope as a small market is to draft a guy who doesn't understand that or does under whatever.
Yeah.
Like is not from here, so
Yeah.
doesn't like buy into the reality show of the NBA
Mhm.
bullshit. He's like, I just want to play ball, man. I don't care where I live. Or what the Cavs did, which is have a kid grow up down the street that's like a once in 10 billion
Generational
player.
talent. Yeah.
And then guilt him into coming back home or whatever. So I said this and I was like the Pelicans, it's cool that they might make the playoffs because at the time I think they were still like doing the play-in.
I think they were the
situation.
9 seed.
They
or
were
something.
they were
Yeah.
playing their way into the play-in.
Mhm.
And I said it just sucks knowing that the Pelicans will never do anything of note. And Derek was like, "No, hang on a like Derek was like shook by this.
Yeah. He was like, what are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about,
He's like,
dude?
CJ
We
McCollum.
got a good core. We got a good.
Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
Which
Have you watched Herb Jones all year?
I mean, the cool thing about the Pelicans is that it to me kind of it reminds you of why basketball is so cool because you throw in a guy like CJ McCollum who is such a great leader on a basketball court, and then you put him next to a supreme talent like Brandon Ingram,
Yeah.
and then they like come together and mesh. And CJ's whole career, where like him and Dame just don't fit with each other, right? The puzzle doesn't quite fit. And then he's like perfectly placed with this guy, Brandon Ingram. And Ingram played on Chris Paul's AAU team. Like he was on Team CP3. This guy is known, like it is an idols becomes rivals moment where Chris Paul used to mentor and teach this kid. And now he's like, I'll meet you out back. That's what he was saying to Chris Paul. You know what I mean? And I'm watching Brandon Ingram, who's now like facing Chris Paul. And, I don't know. I got a lot of respect for the Pelicans. And Willie Green was on staff with Monty Williams. So he knows all about the Suns. He knows their plays. Like, it's just a great series. And I've had a lot of fun watching it. And like you said, I mean, there was no hope with the Pelicans. And not to mention, they have a generational talent sitting on the bench doing 360s before the game. I mean, if he comes back, they could win a title. I mean, right? Like if CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson are out there, every
But I
single
guess
night,
my cynical small market point of view is that
Zion's asking for a
someone's
trade.
going to ask for a trade.
Zion's asking for a
Zion's
trade
gonna
right
get
now.
traded,
He
like,
already
that's-
is asking for a trade.
No, I mean, because I've seen this movie before, and you just like get excited about the idea of all these guys coming back and staying together, and then
I mean, it's OKC.
Yeah,
It's the same
OKC
thing.
is another
2012. Everyone's like, dude, these guys are going to win like 5 titles together.
yeah,
Traded that summer.
yeah.
James Harden literally got traded after the finals. Ugh.
Man,
Yeah, I mean, do you have a favorite? Do you have a team that you're like
the Celtics, the definitely the
Okay.
Boston Celtics. I look at the Celtics and I think to myself, I
who's beating the Celtics? Yeah.
People want to say that defense isn't played in the NBA these days,
Mhm.
and I watch the Boston Celtics, and I just like I'm in my living room. This is true. The other night I was watching the game by myself, and I'm watching the way that some of their rotations and just kind of the way they're making it hard on Durant and Kyrie and stuff. I stood up, Tate, and I saluted my TV. I didn't even give him a standing ovation. I saluted Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you for bringing defense back to the NBA.
Mhm.
I don't defense wins championships. I think that the Boston Celtics culture wins championships as well. And I think the marriage of the defense with the culture, I don't see how the Celtics don't get this done. I really don't. And Jason Tatum is like
Top 7 player.
at least.
Yeah.
Dude. MVP next year. MVP. So
I
that's
would,
my favorite.
yeah. The Heat
I didn't
culture-
fill out a bracket, but if I did, I'm filling out.
I don't know
Celtics
what
all
culture is. That's what I learned. Between the Heat culture, the Celtics culture, the Nets lack of culture.
I think culture.
It's kind of like NIL. It's like this ubiquitous term that you can just throw out, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
But
about."
I think I do think there is something to talking about everyone's culture because I know people roll their eyes at it because everyone it's an overused word, what a lot of people think, but I do think there's something about I think the Brooklyn Nets have culture. It's a shitty culture. It's a horrible culture. It's a culture that
It's a me first culture.
But I think the idea of a culture for a basketball team is like a defined when people say they just say the name of the team, you kind of have an idea of what like that was the reason when Villanova and Houston played in the tournament.
Yeah.
And culture, we said culture 17,000 times leading into that game. It's because when you say Villanova basketball, it doesn't matter what the names on the back of the jersey say, as long as Jay Wright's the coach, which, yikes, guess that's not going to happen anymore. But as long as Jay Wright was
I'm
there,
glad we said it that many times.
I know.
Yeah.
Whoever, it didn't matter what group of guys he had, whether they're winning, losing, whatever else, that all of them are going to be playing like a certain type of basketball. They're all going, like, what to expect when it's familiar, it's well defined. The same was true with Houston.
Yeah.
This year. So I guess that's it.
That's it.
I guess it's like the teams that have like the Lakers have a culture. I think the Lakers and the Nets have culture, and it's an absolute mess. It's bad. It's a disaster, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm so glad the Nets are. I want the Nets to win tonight. I guess by the time most people hear this, the game will be over. But I do want the Nets to win because I want to watch Ben Simmons try to figure out a way to not play in Game 5. But
did you see the
so
Game 4
good to watch the
excuse?
Nets.
He woke up and it was like my back hurt. Yeah, he's like my back.
Same, dude. That's every day. That's
I have sympathy for people with back problems as someone with back problems. But you cannot say and leak, not even say it. You can't leak that you're going to play in Game 4, which is a day and a half after Game 3, and act like it's a major. That was driving me insane. That he couldn't play in Game 3, but he was going to play in Game 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't you just try in Game 3?
Try in Game 3, yeah.
Like, or at least go through warm-ups and be like, can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you just go through warm-ups? Like, there is like a conscious decision to be like, I'm going to wear this outfit as opposed to going through warm-ups and then sitting over in normal game attire. You know what I mean? Like, you would rather wear that than that. That blows my mind. That makes no sense to me. I really don't understand it. I'm just from the outside looking in, and I care about mental health. You and I both care about mental health. This is ridiculous.
It's not mental health.
This is not mental health. Like, this is ridiculous. And he's filing a grievance to get $20 million. That's a lot of money to wear that outfit.
And he's not even that good. That's the other part.
Dude, don't even get me started.
That's what's...
He's a great defender. Yada, yada, yada. I'll say that. But, like, if you won't shoot the basketball when you're open,
I want him
don't like the game.
I want him to have to... I want to see the guy. I want this to go to 7 just to see. But I also say that as a guy, I absolutely hate the Nets. I have proudly hated Kevin Durant from the moment he that was another deal where, like, when Durant went to the Warriors and people were like, he should have the freedom to do what he what? Why is it his fault? Why you would have done the same? All that, I'm like, all that's great. Like, I'm not saying throw the man in prison. I don't think he belongs in prison for doing what he did. But as a consumer of the product, I'm going to say I don't want this product anymore. I'm out on this.
Well, it's also people tuned out because every year it was like, okay, well, the Warriors are going to win.
I think Kevin Durant, every time you mention Kevin Durant's name, talking about for the rest of his career, I think it should be Kevin Durant, the dude who had a 3-1 lead on the Golden State Warriors, blew the lead, and then joined a 73-win team to win 2 titles that everyone now views as fraudulent, today said, and like continue the story, whatever the story is. That should be the fact that somehow that doesn't, I mean, it does live with them in the streets. We know that. The real basketball.
It's great for me as a Steph Curry believer and a defiant person during that period that he was the Finals MVP. But
But the people that the real fans won't ever let him live it down. But yeah, like for some reason
I like Kevin.
I do not. Kevin, if you're watching this, tweet at me. Bring it on. I do not like you. I have not liked you for years. You ruined the NBA.
Yeah,
it's clear as day. And you did, which is why
I think he has the 2 worst teammates in history.
You got insecure about it.
He has the 2 worst teammates in history. The best thing that happened to Kyrie Irving, though, was Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons makes Kyrie Irving look like an angel.
Yeah. You're like, if someone starts talking about the mess going on with Brooklyn this year, they're like, yeah, I know Ben Simmons.
I know, exactly. Which I think he's the perfect fall guy. He should win Fall Guy of the Year at the Duffys next year. We should have a new category, Fall Guy of the Year.
Steve Nash loves it too, by the way, because Steve Nash was living in like Manhattan Beach and had a sick life. Just
Great
like going
life.
to the beach and surfing and playing beach volleyball and doing God knows what. And everybody
doing Bleacher Report soccer analysis. Like he was having a great time.
He had the sickest life. And then an opportunity comes up to win an NBA championship that he never won as a player. And he was like, done. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Ring chase. assignment. And what do I have to do? And you're like, nothing, Steve. Here's the deal.
Kyrie's like, we don't even need a coach.
Here's
You
the
just
funniest,
show up.
here's
We're
the
all
funniest
black.
part, Steve. You don't have to do anything. We're in Brooklyn now. These aren't the New Jersey Nets. We're gonna get every free agent you'd ever want. We're gonna have guys demand trades here.
Yeah.
The path is there for you. All you got to do is show up and cross your arms, and we'll get you a title. And now look at him. So there you go. You got a tea time. You want to get out of here?
No. I was just thinking about Steve Nash. I mean, he had a great life. I mean, his Manhattan Beach life was amazing, and he threw that all away for this. And now people are like, this guy's a joke. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about how you're last remembered a lot of times with people. And like Jay Wright, when we remember him, we'll remember him at the mountaintop. You know what I mean? That's why it was great to leave the way that he did. Steve Nash, if he gets fired, as it's reported, I mean, people are going to say he was one of the worst coaches, and especially
you didn't know the game.
Well, especially if like Mike D'Antoni or someone comes in next year and then like they look incredible. You know what I mean? It was a lose-lose situation all along.
That is I don't get it. All right, that's enough. Do you want North Carolina thoughts or?
I mean, the thoughts are simple. I mean, they're coming. North Carolina's coming. I'm excited to watch. I'm really happy that Caleb was, I mean, he waited literally to the last minute. I mean, there were people up into the 11th hour that were like, I think he's going to go into the draft now. He so we didn't know.
Deadline?
The deadline was on Sunday.
Was it really?
Yeah, to test the waters.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding. I had no idea.
That's why his announcement came out right before the deadline. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited. I love this group. I love this team. I think that everyone has been putting out negative stuff. They're the UCLA 2.0. And I want to remind people, UCLA was great this year.
I'm really confused by that, too. The UCLA...
it's like a knock. It's like not a knock.
UCLA team.
I don't think that's a knock. I mean, UCLA could have beaten Carolina, and in their mind, they should have beaten Carolina, and they would have gone to the Final Four. And I'm not sure they would have beaten Duke, but it would have been a good game. And if they had gone back-to-back Final Fours, everyone would be like, UCLA 2.0. Yeah. That's great. You know what I mean? So
UCLA had a pretty good season. Like I guess
all told, they had COVID and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
They were done for they had a COVID pause for an entire month.
That hurt the
Hawkes's
whole
ankles were messed up. Juzang was dealing with injuries all year.
Arizona was the belle of the ball in the Pac-12. You know what I mean?
So all told, it was a disappointing season for UCLA, but I'm kind of confused by that too. I think people are talking about UCLA like they were 500 this year.
No, exactly.
And
it's very disrespectful.
If Carolina is in fact UCLA, you're going to be disappointed. We should say that if Carolina has the season next year that UCLA had this year, you're not going to be showing up to these shows like with your sticking your chest out saying like we're awesome, but it's also like not.
Yeah, I mean, if they lost in the Sweet 16, I'd be like, yeah, that sucks.
And didn't win the ACC.
Yeah,
didn't win.
Yeah,
didn't really win anything.
Yeah,
that's a bummer of a season. But
of course,
given the context of
what's great about it is that I thought when we left New Orleans that North Carolina had turned a page with all of these college basketball media people. And the good news is that they haven't.
What do you want? What are you talking about?
Just
literally every single human being that even pays a shred of attention to college basketball has North Carolina as the #1 team in the country next year.
Andy Katz. Shout out to Andy Katz.
What do you want? What is this? This is
no. I mean,
this
look,
is.
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need anything. I'm just happy that they are. I mean, I'm happy that it's exactly what it is.
That doesn't make a goddamn sense.
It's exactly what it is.
I don't understand what that means.
The perception has not changed, which is great, and I'm happy about it because North Carolina
has not changed.
No, which is good.
Oh boy,
I'm happy.
Jim, we gotta delete all the pictures of me wearing all the Carolina stuff from the Final Four.
It's good.
This is bad.
Off-season champs, first time.
This is bad.
First time since 2008, actually. No, it's good. It's good. I honestly feel so secure that I don't really have to talk about it. I'm just excited for the season. You know what I mean? Like I don't like off-season championships. I'm not a Duke fan.
All right, let's get out of here. This is
Can we get the story, the Kyle story?
Or should we save it for Friday?
Oh, save it for Friday. All right, save it for Friday.
What the Kyle? Oh, Kyle got engaged. Yeah.
Save it for Friday because I want to hear like the full. I want the full.
Get Kyle on the show, dude.
Yeah. I
want Kyle on the show.
Can we? All right. Deal.
All right.
That sounds like a great Friday show. That sounds like the first casual Friday of the off season that I want to have.